Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to clean an AutoCAD drawing. Now, very important, I chose a very simple basic drawing. You can get very complex drawings with a lot of objects in it that you're going to have to clean, optimize it, blah, 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 all of that shebang, right? But the thing is, I picked a very simple one. It's more based for a beginner, right? So let's get to it. So most of the cases, you're gonna get a floor plan drawing, a top-down drawing of a, for example, this is a ground floor only, okay? This house is a very UK standard, well, it's one of the bigger ones, but it's a standard house type, right? As you can see, it has 2 stories, the ground floor and the first floor. This is an elevation. And this is a section, so you can literally see, you know, the ceiling height, the floor level there, the door height. You can see everything in this section drawing. Now, I'm not gonna cover sections or elevations because it's not very important for us now. So we're just gonna be cleaning the floor plan in a very simple, primitive way, right? So I'm using AutoCAD. You can use draft site, perfectly fine, works kind of the same. So the first thing you want to do is check the scale if your drawing is up to the correct scale, right? So for example, as you can see, it has, for example, this measurement here, it says 1275, right? So it's 1275 millimeters, right? So this is this drawing was made in millimeters because I work in UK. Usually all the architects here work in metric system, right? So usually you're gonna have millimeters. So for example, in USA, elsewhere you could have inches, right? So, but let's just start cleaning this drawing in a very simple way. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is, first step, check the scale, right? Just in case, just check it. Just you type DI, you press space, and you just check from here, for example, to there, and it says 1275. All right, so we are on the correct scale. So I'm just gonna press escape. Okay, so I'm gonna start selecting with my left mouse button. So click, just a click, drag, and click it again, right? So you're selecting it like this. So you can then right click, select similar, right? So zoom out with your mouse wheel and you can check what you selected. As you can see, you selected all the measurements because I don't really need the measurements. This is already correct in the correct scale. So then I'm gonna press delete and I'm gonna start selecting other objects that I don't need. I wouldn't recommend to rush it. Sometimes you can select objects and select similar, and it's gonna select objects that you don't really want to delete. So I would, you know, just zoom out a little bit, just check it out what you're selecting, select similar, and as you can see, everything is, you know, you don't really need these light circuits, etc. So press delete. The other thing is we don't really need this text, so I'm selecting a couple of these texts. You know, I'm gonna select this arrow as well. I'm just gonna select similar, delete. And what else? Okay, so we don't really need hatches, any hatches. We don't really need any hatches. So I'm gonna select a couple of these, couple of that, couple of those, right click, select similar. All right, let's just check it out what we're selecting. As you can see, we're kind of selecting all the hatches, delete. We don't really need these guys. It's not really important. It's just a separation there, structure. We're gonna delete a couple of those lines, select similar, delete, right? So you can just practice. I'm gonna put this on a cloud, a link. I'm gonna share this in my description on this video, on this tutorial, and you can practice on your own as well. So I'm just gonna delete these hatches there. So right click, select similar. And as you can see, I think I'm selecting, I didn't select that line because that line is very important. It's basically the entrance, right? It's just gonna be an empty space there. So I'm just gonna select this guy because I don't really need that guy. So this is gonna be just a wall like that, right? So I'm just gonna delete this, just manual selecting, you know, it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna select that guy, but overall this CAD is already, you know, try to clean all the hatches. You don't really need any text that's just unnecessary. Just delete that guy there. I don't really need the insides of these switches, so right click, select a couple of those hatches, select similar and delete, right? So it should pick it up quite well. AutoCAD does a very good job. By the way, DraftSide does a very good job by selecting similar as well. But like I said, sometimes you will get drawings that are very untidy, etc., blah, 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 and you will have to spend a little bit more time cleaning them, right? Obviously, it depends from the size of the drawing as well and the complexity of the project. Because, like I say, this is a very simple project. This is a very simple house type. But maybe for the beginners, it will look complicated, right? So the next thing you want to do is, so I cleaned enough things for me to understand, you know, what I want to clean. So for example, if you accidentally deleted a line, because I know that there is a line there, I just accidentally deleted, you can go back, or you can just type line, press space, and just, I don't know, just for yourself connect it, right? So I'm gonna press space again, because space literally repeats the last previous command. So if I typed line and press space and used it and click and escape, because you're canceling, you're stopping the command. All right, so the next time you're gonna press space, it will repeat the previous command that you entered. So if I'm gonna press space now, it's gonna give me the line, as you can see here. Same with the delete. If you're gonna press, for example, I'm just gonna show you a quick example. If you're gonna press, select this object and you press delete, and the next object, I'm gonna just select it and press space, it will repeat the previous command, which was delete, right? If you are gonna select an object and press select similar, space will not work anymore, because space will actually do the same, select similar, because what space does, it repeats the previous command. So whatever previous command you did last, that is your previous command, right? So use delete and space button. You will get along with this. It's just gonna take a little bit more time to getting used to. That's about it. So, but basically this is clean enough. You have the kitchen layout roughly. Obviously you should have, you know, proper drawings of a kitchen, elevations, etc., blah blah blah. But we're just, you know, cleaning this as quick as possible for now. And obviously I'm trying to explain some things. So the next thing I would do is to Control A, Control plus A. So basically I'm selecting everything in my scene, right? And then I'm pressing Shift, holding it, and I'm just clicking and clicking it again. So what I did here now is I selected everything in my scene, all the drawings, all the objects, everything that is off the grid, off the origin, etc., right? Because you want everything to be in 0, 0 origin, right? Roughly. And what I did, I selected everything and then I shift and selected my drawing. So I deselected my drawing, but everything else stayed selected. So what I'm gonna press delete. So everything around my drawing has been deleted. So just double check, obviously, before you do that, check the layers that everything is unhidden, because some architects like to hide the layers. So for example, you're working on a drawing and you cannot see your lighting layouts, for example, pendant lights, spotlights, etc. Let's just say you write an email to an architect or whatever, your client says, you know, I cannot see, you know, the lighting plan or whatever. And some architects were gonna reply, you know, it's hidden, check the layers, blah blah blah. But usually they shouldn't be hiding when they're sending a drawing to the CGI artist. Usually they shouldn't be hiding layers. They should be all unhidden, or the plan, literally they need to send you what you need to see in most cases, but that's not gonna happen all the time. So you're gonna have to, you know, communicate a little bit better with that, especially with an architect. So usually sometimes they send, you know, walls, a rough structural base, a floor plan without any, for example, you know, lighting layout, you know, for example, radiators, etc., etc. Usually sometimes they separate these drawings and send you, you know, 3 different drawings showing, in one is going to be showing the lighting, another one is going to be showing the walls, etc., and another one is going to be showing, for example, the radiators, where they add light switches, etc. It really depends how the architect is working, or that company, right? So, but usually everything, it would be the most comfortable way to work with is that everything should be in the same CAD, right? So everything that you're gonna see, so spotlights, lighting, pendant lights, switches, radiators, doors, you know, window niches, etc., showing a rough kitchen, literally just to for you to understand everything, right? So this drawing is quite clean already. The next step we're gonna do is gonna Control A, and we're gonna explode this a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna type X and we're gonna press OK. So as you can see, we cannot explode it anymore because this CAD, to be honest, is quite clean already. The next thing we're gonna do is Control A, and we're gonna type purge, right? So Control A selects everything, and we want to purge everything. So we're gonna purge, and we're gonna purge all checked items. All right, so that's what we did. The next option we're gonna do is Control A, and we're gonna try to clean the drawing a little bit from errors. So audit, I'm gonna press OK. I'm gonna press yes. It says, as you can see here, audit fix and errors detected. Yes, and we're typing Y, and we're pressing enter. All right, so as you can see, nothing was found. So all in all, as you can see, we still have some layers. We did clean a little bit of them, but don't worry about the layers too much. When we're gonna be importing this drawing into Max in the next lesson, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to, you know, properly clean it and finalize it and attach all the splines and delete all the rest of the crap that you imported into Max. But basically your job is to clean the drawing enough so you wouldn't need to, you know, import all the crap that you have in the CAD, because sometimes you can have a lot of stuff in there, right? So you don't really want to, you know, make your scene that heavy, right? So you want to keep the CAD plans as light as possible when importing into 3ds Max. All right, so the drawing is here now. So we did purged it, we did audit it, and we did explode it a little bit. You can explode a couple of times if your drawing is very, you know, heavy, etc, etc. The next thing you can do, it's not really necessary to do this, but you can practice this. So I'm gonna press Control A, and I'm gonna go to layers. I'm gonna go to the layer tab, and I'm just gonna choose 0 layer. So what it's gonna do is gonna put all of that crap, all of those objects, into 0 layer. Bam. All right, so it should become a white color, as you can see here. Don't be afraid if it becomes, you know, a couple of colors are gonna be red or yellow. Doesn't matter. The thing is, maybe you didn't explode it, you know, to the end, and you know, you still have a couple of different layers. But as long as you don't have gajillion layers importing into 3ds Max, this is perfectly fine. Just have, you know, up to 5-10 layers. That's perfectly fine. Either way, in Max, inside of Max, you will be collapsing everything into one spline. All right, that's very important, because the viewport is just gonna work faster. If you're just gonna group it, yeah, that's not a good idea to practice. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do now, so basically what I did now is I moved all the objects into one layer, right? Because I don't really need separate layers. I'm not gonna be working on this AutoCAD drawing. So what I'm gonna press now, Control A, select everything, and I'm gonna type again purge. So it's gonna purge. So I'm just gonna show a very quick example. So I'm still gonna have all the layers. So now look what's gonna happen. So purge, Control A, purge, enter, and see, I have the purge again. So I'm gonna purge all, bomb, close, and I'm gonna go to layers, back again, and as you can see, I have a couple of layers left, right? But don't worry about those layers. This is perfectly fine. We can select Control A, Shift, deselect the drawing, and just in case, press the button delete, just to make sure, right? Now, so everything is clean enough for now. We're just gonna finalize this in 3ds Max in the next lesson. That's perfectly fine. But for now, the drawing is quite clean. We don't have any hatches, etc. We don't have any very unnecessary objects in the scene, right? So the next thing you want to try to do, obviously you can do that in Max, but I wouldn't practice that. So the next thing is we need to check the origin of the drawing, right? So for example, we want that the drawing would be in 0, 0 origin, right? So how can you check where your drawing is? So for example, if I type line and press enter and press 0, 0 and press enter, as you can see, the drawing, the line is going from the middle here. So that is your 0, 0 axis. So actually this drawing is in a perfect location, right? But I'm just gonna press escape. But let's just say I'm gonna select my drawing, press M, press space to move, and I'm gonna click on one point and move it somewhere there, right? So sometimes architects like to put their drawings off 0, 0 origin, because sometimes for them it's not that important where the drawing is, right? If you use the middle mouse button, double click, it will centralize to what you see on the scene. So for example, if you would have two drawings there, it would, you know, centralize the drawings in your preview. But let's just say I'm gonna type line again and 0, 0, press enter. As you can see that our drawing is off the 0, 0 line, right? So what if I want to move my drawing? Okay, so we want to move our drawing to 0, 0 origin, right? Obviously in AutoCAD it doesn't really matter where the drawing is, but in Max it does, because if you're gonna work off the origin very, very far away, you will have issues in snapping, in viewport clipping, etc, etc. Please don't practice that. Always try to keep your projects in 0, 0 axis, especially in Max. All right. So, all right, so what we need to do now is to move this drawing into 0, 0 axis. So how can we do that? So we select the drawing and we're gonna press M for move. You can type the full word move if you want to, but as you can see here, it shows me move. So we can press space and we can select a point, any point, doesn't matter. Let's just say I want that this corner would be in 0, 0 axis, right? That's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna click on the point, and I'm gonna not drag it, but just drag it a little bit if you want to. And I'm gonna type 0, 0, and I'm gonna press enter. And the drawing didn't move. Why is that? Because we need to add a hashtag. Because we need to add a hashtag. All right, so hashtag is gonna make the origin absolute, right? Don't worry about the hashtag, but when you add a hashtag, it will move to the origin, in the correct origin. So select the drawing and you press move, right? You can type move or M, press space, and you type then a hashtag, all right, as you can see here, and then you type 0, and then you type comma, and then you type 0, and then you press enter. All right. So my mistake. So I'm just gonna select this, press move, and select. I didn't select a point. Okay, so I'm gonna press hashtag 0, 0, and press like that. So what happened there is that I didn't select a point, so that you have to always select some kind of a point. So that point will become a 0, 0 origin, just so you know, right? So I'm gonna do that again. So select the drawing, okay, press M, space, and then select a point. So that point is gonna move. We're gonna move that point to 0, 0 axis. So we're gonna click on that point so we can see that that point is active now, and we can type hashtag 0, 0, and press enter. And now if we type line and we press enter, and we then type 0, 0 and press enter, we can see that the 0, 0 axis is there, right? So literally in Max, the 0, 0 axis will be on that point there. And by the way, you can create any point you want. If for some reason you want to make that corner there as your 0, 0 origin, please do. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter which point are you making a 0, 0 origin, unless you know that you're gonna use that point for the next floor plan. So for example, it's going to be the first floor plan, not the ground floor anymore, right? So you're going to match that same corner of the first floor to the ground floor point. So it's gonna, it's just, you kind of think one step ahead what you're gonna do next or what you're gonna need to do next, right? So if you make this, as organized as possible, because if you have one floor, let's just say a ground floor or just an apartment, you don't really need to worry about, where you're placing your 0, 0 axis, origin. But if you have, for example, 3 different floors, you can start to organize your drawings a little bit better, just to help you out a little bit. But don't get me wrong, in Max you can snap the drawings up in a perfect way. It's not really a big deal if you screw up here. But literally what we did now is we cleaned the drawing as best as possible for what it is. And it's light enough, and we can now export it as a DWG, right? So we cleaned the drawing, we purged, we exploded it, we moved to a 0 layer. We did delete everything around the drawing, so we don't really have any other garbage around the drawing, right? We're only concentrating on this drawing, okay? So the next thing what you want to do is save the file, and that's about it. But yes, before saving the file, don't forget to move your drawing to 0, 0 axis, all right, like I showed you just now. So the next thing you want to do is literally so simple: save as. For example, I'm going to go to desktop and type, I don't know, house type ground floor underscore clean, right? And that's pretty much it. You save the drawing, and that drawing is only gonna contain this CAD plan, right? So in the next lesson, I'm gonna be showing you how to import this drawing into Max and how to model walls. Only the walls. I'm not going to be showing anything else. I'm going to be showing you only how to model the walls, okay? My technique. And pretty much that's about it. Later on I'm going to be showing you guys how to model, how to extract floors, how to, later on extract skirting, ceiling, etc, 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 right? But for now, this is a very simple tutorial just of showing, how to work with the drawing and clean it. Now, just to finalize this, if you have a lot of different objects in your scene, like a floor plan next to a floor plan next to a floor plan next to a floor plan, and you have a lot of different drawings in your one page, what you can do is literally copy the isolate your drawing, right? So what you do is you select all of what you need, right, and you Control C, so you copy it, and then you press Control N for Control New, and you choose the AutoCAD ISO, and then what you choose is Control V for paste, and you type 0, 0, and the drawing should drop into 0, 0 origin, as you can see here. There we go. And then you can start cleaning the drawing, doing whatever you need to do with it. And the next tab that's going to be here, for example, the new drawing, you're going to leave all of the things that you don't really need to work with or delete, keep deleting them, etc, etc, right? So you're just going to isolate that drawing into a new file, and then you're going to clean it, purge it, whatever you need to do there, right? And then export it, right? So for example, I can do that the same thing now. I can just, override this if I want to, press yes, okay, there you go. So let's just say I'm gonna close my AutoCAD, right? And let's just say I'm gonna open now and see what I'm gonna get, right? So I'm not gonna do that in Max now. So I'm gonna show that in the next tutorial, but continue opening the, if you're getting any errors that you're missing any extracts or whatever, just ignore it. There's sometimes you have a button called ignore, and sometimes continue, it depends, just continue with the drawing. There you go, ignore, blah blah blah, because sometimes AutoCAD drawings have some other references linked in the same folder. So it's a completely different tutorial on that, but don't worry about it really. As long as you see what you need to see and need to import into 3ds Max, you're good to go, right? So this is what you see. You know, you don't have any, so for example, if I go here somewhere, you double click the middle mouse button and it drops straight to your drawing. That means that, you know, really you don't really have any garbage around the drawing. And that's pretty much it. In the next tutorial, we're gonna be, you know, modeling some of the walls here, and I'm gonna be showing you my technique of how to model the walls in the correct way. There is not really a correct way of modeling walls, but in my 15 years of experience, I tried a lot of different techniques of how to model walls, and still to this day, I found that modeling the walls in quads, just literally poly modeling them, is the most, I'm not gonna say maybe the most efficient way, but is the most correctish way to model, just because of the editing in the future. But I'm gonna show you that in the next lesson, all right? So stay tuned, guys.